The last 20 years has seen a considerable increase in the popularity of organic food production and consumption. The 22nd annual Brisbane Organic Growers Fair was held recently, drawing a large and diverse crowd, interested not only in organic produce but in sustainable farming practices. Jocelyn Clark, the president of the Brisbane Organic Growers, thinks that attitudes towards organics are changing.
The word is spreading because this year we've had a much bigger response than we have in past years. And I think that's what they're saying. Do I really need all this extra stuff? Can I live a good life by living simply and having pure and good food?
Food Connect run a community-based agriculture program in Brisbane. Anna Barnes has worked at Food Connect for about 2 years.
Preservatives and colours and the amount of poison that we feed children, and knowingly the Australian New Zealand Food Authority knowingly distribute this sort of food within society, allow it to happen. That's one thing I like about what we're doing here at Food Connect. We sort of see more, fresh produce that is pesticide free. It's not just whether or not something is organic or not, but we're also looking at the whole concept of supporting the farmers. So in turn we support farmers who are actually doing sustainable farming practices, but they may not necessarily be certified organic.
Organic foods are still seen as inaccessible to many due to their higher costs and limited availability. Food Connect wants to change this image.
People as consumers, they look broader than whether or not their food is organic just purely for their own lifestyle changes, but actually come to think about where their produce is coming from. So the organic produce is it's great to have in society, however it's not really, shouldn't be seen just as a luxury.
Food Connect says there needs to be more regulation to encourage farmers to use sustainable environmental practices.
It's not legislation we're looking at that puts the farmers out of work or puts up brick walls or anything like that. I don't think that gets anyone anywhere. If we look at our structure of what, say, the state government in Queensland's got to offer farmers, there's no real infrastructure to actually help farmers on the ground with converting to sustainability practices.
We really do have to convince the politicians that it's in the interests of this nation that we have a healthy young people coming up.
There have been some small wins, and there are a wonderful few individuals within various state departments who have really pushed organic support for legislation that is going to increase the expansion of organics. But on the whole, those people, I would say, work in isolation.
Consumers may not be aware of the different standards for organic produce.
Oils ain't oils, so organics ain't organics all the time.
The high costs involved in organic certification can be a barrier for smaller farms.
Around the world, we've seen, particularly in countries such as the United States, when a national organic standard was introduced, in a number of smaller farms withdrew from certification because the cost made it prohibitive. In Australia, there's plenty of anecdotal evidence to suggest that's happening as well.
Some communities have established alternative ways of certifying organic produce.
So these participatory guarantee systems work on a group certification model, which is much more decentralised and much more based on at a community level, defining this is acceptable practices for organic agriculture.
Anna from Food Connect is dubious about the motivations for supermarkets like Coles and Woolworths stocking organic produce.
So when supermarkets actually get on the organic bandwagon, I would really question as for what reasons they're doing it, and if it's just profit motive driven, well then where are the benefits in that for society?
Marketeer Jen Power encountered the brunt of supermarket power when Woolworths prevented her from opening a farmers market at Brookside earlier in the year. Libby Kilby, festival producer and organic consumer, doesn't buy her food from supermarkets.
As far as fruit and vegetables go, I don't really buy from them because I don't really agree with their business practices.
Coles' current Farmer to You advertising campaign is evidence of the increasing demand for fresh produce. However, it seems much of the produce stocked in supermarkets is not sought locally.
Well, with the home brands, for example, in supermarkets, it's not really home brand. I mean, they certainly talk about this home brand. You would think that actually your home brand, it's actually local, but it's not. A lot of tomatoes have been grown in China now and canned and shipped over here.
Coles and Woolworths both declined to comment for this report.
If you can't get access to organic food all the time to make all those purchases, I guess the best anyone can really do is make themselves aware as possible.
Increasing efforts to promote community-based agriculture will ensure the ethos of organic production is preserved. Rachel Trevarthen reporting for CCN Online.